Pulsamaniacs, thanks for rejoining us on the interwebs. We are back for another season. Rick, Rack, and Timmy D with you. Week 1 is in the books in the Big Ten already with a top 25 win as Michigan State knocks off Boise State at home 17-13 thanks to an outstanding effort by Le'Veon Bell. Touched the football 50 times, 265 total yards. Timmy D, would you like to be the first to officially welcome Le'Veon Bell to the Heisman race?
Yeah, he was really the story in all of sports Friday night. I mean, he talked about all those touches and all those yards, over 200 yards on the ground. Rack, I was impressed with his blocking ability. And Michigan State, they have an identity. You know who they are. They're going to run the football, and they're going to play great defense. Boise State, no offensive touchdowns in the game. It's the first time they haven't scored an offensive touchdown since 1997. So Michigan State came into the season the most impressive defense and really lived up to it in that first game, even though Maxwell threw the ball away 3 times.
Yeah, deep down in my heart, I'm just an old school style of football where you'd like to see running game and defense. And yes, Le'Veon Bell was impressive, but the defense, in my opinion, was even more impressive, holding Boise State to just 37 rushing yards. We knew that this was going to be the strength of the team. I think the offense is going to come along as soon as Andrew Maxwell gets a little bit more comfortable throwing the football. They got a veteran offensive line, a great running back. They got to work a little bit at the wide receiver position, but that will come up over time.
Michigan State, are they the favorites in that division?
I think they're definitely up there for the running.
Oh, come on. Give me
It's
something.
week 1. It's week 1. You're trying to make a prediction for the end of the season?
It's awfully tough to do that this early in the season, but their schedule sets up a lot easier than it did a year ago when they had that brutal run. By the way, we never make a big deal out of coordinators staying at a school. Mark Hollis, the AD at Michigan State, made sure Pat Narduzzi, the defensive coordinator, who could have gone a lot of places last year, stayed in place. That will pay dividends down the line, no doubt, for the Spartans. Of course, one of the biggest concerns, especially early in the season, injuries. Some key guys went down for teams this year, running backs like Bill Belton and, of course, Rex Burkhead. The quarterbacks that went down, Kane Coulter, Nathan Scheelhaus, Denard Robinson, Braxton Miller missed a little bit of time. Blake Countess out for the year, Michigan's best defensive back with a torn ACL. Rack, of all these injuries, which concerns you the most in terms of which player means the most to his team and simply can't be lost for any extended period?
Rex Burkhead has got to be on the field for the Nebraska Cornhuskers. Hands down, end of story, put a period at the end of the sentence. He's meant so much to this team. Now, yes, Taylor Martinez had an outstanding day throwing the football against Southern Miss, but I don't know if that's going to be able to happen throughout the course of the entire season. We do know one thing's going to happen. If you need a tough yard and a short yardage and goal line, you turn the ball around, you give it to Rex Burkhead, and he's going to pick it up for you.
Yeah, Rex Burkhead kind of has the Zach Brown band on his Pandora. I mean, he is just so country, and he's just so tough. He does get those hard yards, but you take him out of the Cornhuskers lineup, and they still have some depth at running back. You take Denard out of Michigan's lineup? I don't know, Rack. I mean, I think Michigan's offense really the last 3 years has been pretty one-dimensional, and that one dimension has been Denard. Hopefully you won't see him trying to make any more tackles the rest of the season.
Hold on, Fitz Toussaint was a legit running back last year. He obviously didn't play in this game against Alabama.
And who knows his status going forward as well.
Supposed to play this weekend. Supposed to play this weekend for Michigan.
But if Denard Robinson, who's had over 2,000 passing yards and 1,000 rushing yards the last 2 seasons, is out of the lineup, I just don't know how Michigan is going to score the football. The funny thing is Brady Hoke does not even want to play this brand of football. He's really forced to because Denard is that great a talent. Take him off the team. I just don't know where they are.
Let's stay on the quarterback topic and talk about which quarterback was more impressive to you. There's a mini version of our Who You Got segment because both Braxton Miller and the aforementioned Taylor Martinez were outstanding. Miller, 368 yards of total offense. That's a season opening record for Ohio State. Martinez, 354 passing yards, a season opening record for Nebraska. So, Rack, if I made you choose, who you got, the X Factor or the Magic Man more impressive QB?
So you're seeing a little bit of a theme here because I'm going to go with the Cornhuskers again and Taylor Martinez. I think what he did through the air, especially when everybody knows that has been the weakness in Nebraska's offense, is they had the inability to move the football via the passing game. He showed in week 1 that he's got the ability to do it. Now, do I expect him to go for 354 yards every single game? No. But if he can develop the confidence and his receivers can get used to catching a lot of footballs, they can be a dangerous offense.
It sounds to me like Rack may be looking for a free meal and a good tea time in Lincoln when he goes there later this year.
Hey, I think Nebraska can easily win that division. Now, their schedule is brutal if you really break it down, but Taylor Martinez throws for 5 touchdowns. That's a career high for him. And here's a guy who is just under that microscope each and every time he drops back to pass because, let's be honest, The motion is not very pretty, but the results were very, very good. You know their defense is going to be better. Jerry DiNardo came out and said that he thinks they're the most improved team from day one of last year to day one of this year, and they came out, and that was a pretty impressive win because Southern Miss, a lot of people were kind of picking as a sleeper pick to maybe upset the Cornhuskers.
And Nebraska does have a tough schedule, but remember, Wisconsin week 1 of the Big Ten season and Michigan later in the slate, both in Lincoln. So a big advantage for the Huskers in those 2 games. And speaking of Michigan, you may have heard this story of Cooper Barton, a 5-year-old in Oklahoma who was forced to turn his T-shirt inside out because it supported Michigan. There's a public schools rule that says if you wear a team-sponsored T-shirt, it has to be supporting an Oklahoma school. No worries, Cooper. Dave Brandon has a solution.
And this is, as you will see, a Michigan football T-shirt that we're going to send to Cooper. But what I want you to understand about this T-shirt is when you turn it inside out, you get another one.
Now, I know I've heard of the reversible belts. I know you have the reversible. I actually thought you had the reversible suits because I usually only see you in one. I've never heard about the reversible T-shirts like that.
Yeah, what an outrageous rule. I mean, Oklahoma, I know you got the Thunder. I know they're in a lot going on there as far as pro sports. So the college sports are the only show in town. I just like the way Dave Brandon handled it. I like that he gave publicity to the kid. They're sending him out a T-shirt. I think they're going to get him to a game later in the season. I think it's a pretty cool idea.
Now, this rule is because they're worried about some type of gang following in Oklahoma City schools. Can you tell me, Rick, what's going to happen with a kindergartner or 5-year-old? Is there really a whole lot?
I don't know. I have a 5-year-old at home, and I'm not really sure. Though my wife usually puts out the T-shirts that he wears, so I'm not really involved in that important decision-making.
How'd you know about the belt?
For Rack and Timmy D, I'm Rick Pizzo. Check out the Pulse every Monday night here on BTN.